Audio preview.
Hello dear students, once again I welcome you all in this video session. Today we are gonna complete our 8th chapter Mijbil the Otter by Gavin Maxwell. So let's come to the second last paragraph. It is not, I suppose, in any way strange that the average Londoner should not recognize an otter. The writer says that what I consider is it is not anyway strange that the average Londoner does not recognize an otter. The reason behind it is unknown to science, as well as it is not found in European countries. But the variety of guesses as to what kind of animal this might be came as a surprise to me. The writer says that it did not surprise him that people did not recognize Miss. But what surprised him was the various guesses made by the people about what Miss was. Otters belong to a comparatively small group of animals called mustelines. Scientifically, otters belong to a small group of animals which is called as mustelines. And this group, mustelines, besides otters, also include beaver, mongoose, weasel, stoat, mink, and other animals. I faced a continuous barrage of conjectural questions that spread all the mustelines but the otters. I faced a barrage of conjectural questions, a stream of questions that spread all the mustelines but could not spray mijbil. More random guesses hit on a baby seal and a squirrel. People also guessed it as a baby seal and a squirrel. Somebody reduced me to giggles. Somebody resulted me to giggles when he asked, "Is this animal a walrus, mister?" And once outside a dog show, I heard a hippo. Somebody asked me if Miss was a hippo. A beaver, a bear cub, a leopard one clearly that had changed its spots, and a brontosaur. These are the guesses made by people about what Miss was in London. Miss was anything for them but not an otter. None of them could. Writer here in this paragraph says that people guessed, people made many guesses about what Miss was. But the question for which I awarded the highest score came from a laborer digging a hole in the street. But the question for which I'm gonna award the highest score was not asked by any intellectual of London, but a laborer who was digging a hole in the street. I was still far from him when he laid down his tool, put his hands on his hips, and began to stare. When I met that laborer, I was distant from him, and on seeing me, he kept down his tool and he put his hands on his hips and started to stare me. As I drew nearer, as I went closer, I saw his expressions of surprise and affront. I saw his expression of surprise and disgust, humiliation. When I went close to the laborer, He looked surprised. He looked like he wanted to humiliate me. It looked like he would have me know that he was not one upon whom to play jokes. It seemed to me that he wanted to tell me that he was not one of those on whom I could play jokes. I came abreast of him. I came along to his side. He spat, glared, and then growled out. Then he spoke out. "Here, mister, what is that supposed to be?" He asked me, "Hey, mister, what this animal supposed to be?" He was the only person who, instead making guesses about mijbil, asked me what actually mijbil was. That is why I'm gonna award him the highest score. Now let us have a brief summary of what we have studied in this chapter. This chapter is a descriptive account of a pet owned by a writer Gavin Maxwell. Here in this chapter, he shares his bonding and experience with his pet mijbil, the otter.